So, in regards to edible oils and their part in our diet, the culmination of my research has led me to believe, and of course I'm totally open to, because it is still sort of a somewhat controversial issue as to what conclusion one can draw from the thousands of different research papers. But basically, what it seems to me like with the olive oil specifically is that, and I don't, there's a lot of claims of what constituent of the olive oil could be responsible for this. And there's so many that it's just kind of pointless talking about that, because at the end of the day, pragmatically wise, if it's healthy, and reduces the risks of diseases, then that's a benefit, and I don't really need to know exactly which part of which constituent is responsible and how. It's just good, I'll eat it. And yeah, but there are a lot of sort of claims on why that is, but it's just there's so many. But basically, I just found that there's a lot of research on different edible oils, a lot of research on olive oil, and olive oil seems to always confer a health benefit, whereas the other oils are often either neutral or detrimental, and they seem to derive their claim to being healthy, like sunflower oil and canola oil and rice brand oil, from theoretical concepts, as in like this constituent of rice flour oil is rice brand oil is good, and therefore to infer from that the consumption of the oil is good. But that doesn't really, in biology being so complex, you can't really theorize like that. You have to have an actual observation study, and a lot of them, to sort of show that it actually works to prolong the lifespan and the health span, right? The two only metrics really that are of concern, and in this scenario. And with regards to that, olive oil is absolutely number one, because it just universally, every single observational study that they do, it's associated with a longer lifespan, longer health span. And it's not so much that any one of the studies proves anything, because it's just an association, not a causation. But it's the sheer number of, and the universal sort of result of it being beneficial that seems to be, to me, convincing. The fact that every single time a study comes out on olive oil, and one might claim like, well, yeah, but they'd be sponsored by somebody with an interest in olive oil. But yeah, some of them might be, but a lot of them are not. A lot of them discuss a lot of different issues. They're really big studies, populational, sort of multi-million person studies, and they just consistently show the benefit of olive oil. And so it's I think would be very easy for somebody to dismiss any one of them, and I would agree that, and you point to any one study and you could say, yeah, but this doesn't prove that, and then with the other one, yeah, but this doesn't prove that. But then after 1,000 of them, and the consistency of every single one of them being positive, you just start seeing this association. Like, to this day, you can't really prove that cigarettes cause lung cancer, but you can prove it by the fact there's like thousands of studies, and they all consistently show not causation, but correlation enough, and you can, from that, infer that it is in fact causative to, beyond a reasonable doubt, because you can never really prove it, because there could have been some factor in there that wasn't some confounding factor that wasn't considered, residual confounding factor. Yeah, and yeah, so that's what I would say is the benefit of it, other than because all the oils allow you to absorb the fat soluble vitamins, so they're kind of all on par with that. Yet olive oil seems to just be the only one that's associated with health benefits, not just on a theoretical level, but on an observational level, and consistently over a century of research. So that's, yeah, that for me is why I have olive oil whenever I eat, in order to hopefully, derive some of these benefits from the olive oil, which I do like olive oil that's raw and uncooked, to minimize the potential detrimental effect of cooking with olive oil, the excessive heat temperatures of, because the extra virgin olive oil is good. It's a sort of a health tonic to put on salads and something where it's raw, because it has a lot of polyphenols that haven't been extracted from it. But as soon as you start cooking, a lot of these polyphenols actually become somewhat detrimental. Like there's, like, for example, vitamin C doesn't really have it, but most of the other vitamins that are also antioxidants, they, like beta carotene, for example, is a super great antioxidant. But if you oxidize it too much, then it actually ends up being an oxidant itself. And so many of the polyphenols are like that, that if you sort of like expose them to oxidizing situations, they'll oxidize, and then they'll actually be oxidizing. And so that's why they have the more refined olive oil for cooking, but then you miss out on all those polyphenols, which I'm pretty sure is what confers the actual benefits of olive oil, is the hundreds of different polyphenols that they have there. A lot of them are unknown, and every time they study one, they're like have extraordinary health qualities. But like I said, that's a theoretical concept, and the reality is that whenever they do an observational study, it seems to just be always that it's associated with health benefits. Yeah.